Oh, hey everybody, and welcome to our show. We like to call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the country. We will attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. This week we head out to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Oaklawn Park in Arkansas has a stakes-packed car. They've got 4 stakes races. 3 of them are in the pick four for us. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I will be joined by my friends and also my racing analysts. Actually, coming at you from his home in Staten Island, New York. This is our East Coast analyst, Ray Torado. You know what? We've talked about this for years. This is actually one of the spots that I think we'd like to get to. Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Oh yeah, be a nice trip.
How you been, Ray?
Good, good, very good. We're warming up here, and the Triple Crown's definitely on its way.
Yeah, red hot and packed with California horses heading to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Speaking of California people who would like to get out to Arkansas, let's talk about our West Coast handicapper. His name is Joe English, and he's coming to you from his home in Temecula, California. Joe, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Rich. And I just wanted to clarify something. The pick four is an all stakes pick four. It's races 7 through 10.
Oh, you know what? I missed that. I thought it was 8 through 11. My apologies.
It's funny because originally I had it
7, 10.
on my PP the same way, but I saw a tweet from somebody on Twitter, and it was confirmed that it's an actual all stakes pick four, and it starts with the Azarian race 7.
Yeah,
we're on the same page.
That and that explains why Ray has 3 singles in his pick four now.
So he says, let's come on, Rich, you got to tease it a little. Maybe he got 3 singles. Maybe.
Mum's the word.
Right. I will give that one to you. Okay. Last week we were Ray, we were right there in your backyard. We were out at the Big A Aqueduct Racetrack in Ozone Park, New York. They actually had a very nice card as well. Unfortunately,
we missed one.
Yeah, we missed one. We stubbed our toe right there in the first race. So we did not hit our pick four last week. Time for a quick weather update from our friends out in Hot Springs, Arkansas for Saturday. And look at this. It's generally sunny. I guess that's the way that they describe it out there in Arkansas. There's a high of 59 degrees, mild winds, and most important of all, there's a 0% chance of rain. I'm hoping that there is a 0% chance of tornado. For those of you who live in that part of the country, our best thoughts are with you. All right, we are ready to move on to it. We've got a total of 11 races. As Joe mentioned, there are 4 stakes on tap for Saturday, and we are focused on the pick four. Excuse me for misstating this before. It begins in race number 7 and concludes in race number 10. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the start.
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Rich, I'm not sure if you can hear us.
Big stunt track.
Oh.
Oops.
I got out there for a second, Rich. Sorry.
I think I might be having some internet issues here. I saw that happen a little bit earlier for it, so I apologize if I missed that for you guys, and I will restate that for you just so we don't miss it. There are a total of 11 races on Saturday, and there are 4 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four. It's beginning in race number 7 and concluding in race number 10. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter's ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time.
Let's do it.
Here we go. First up, race number 7, a mile and a 16th. You heard me say this all night. It's on the main track. It's the only track they have there at Oaklawn Park. This is the Azeri Stakes, Grade 2. Purse is $350,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. If I'm not mistaken, your morning line favorite sits in post number 2, trained by Steve Asmussen and ridden by Mike Smith. Midnight Bisou is 6-5 on the Oaklawn Park morning line. Joe, how do you feel about kicking us off tonight?
Fine, Rich, no problem. It's funny. I think this is maybe the first and maybe only time that you'll ever see this. There are 4 stakes in the pick four. They're all run at the same distance. Exactly 8.5.
Oh, wow.
There's no variation. Not a mile and an eighth. 8.5 furlongs. It just struck me as I was sitting here, so I figured I would bring it up. It's funny. The Azeri is an interesting race. I tried to come up with somebody other than the logical choices, And on my own ticket, I would probably use the 4 horses that I think can win the race altogether, because I would have something a little bit. Obviously, there will be chances to single later on in the sequence, which I'm sure you will hear about shortly. But I ended up on the morning line favorite, and it's funny. Andy Sherling is a guy I read on Twitter, and he's pretty adamant that he thinks Elate's going to be the morning line favorite. Maybe Midnight Bisou was made the morning line favorite because of the Steve Asmussen connection to that track, because he's been the leading trainer. He was leading trainer last year, and I'd be fairly shocked if he's not leading trainer again this year. So I would. That's probably why Midnight Bisou is the morning line favorite. But Andy Sherling has the opinion that Elate will end up being the favorite at post time. But those are the two I went with. Like I said, I would use the other 2 horses. I would use Eskimo Kisses and Shamrock Rose if on a deeper ticket. I just think that Midnight Bisou has a little bit of an advantage, being that she has the one recent race at Sam Houston. And Asmussen has horses all over the country. He has a bunch of horses he trains at Sam Houston. So he can bring, he'll run at Sam Houston. And that was obviously a nice tightener and a good way for Mike Smith to get back aboard Midnight Bisou after, I guess he had given up the mount for, I'm going to guess that would have been Abel Tasman in the Breeders' Cup Distaff that day, because Florent Giroux rides Monomoy Girl, but I don't see Abel Tasman in the PPs. Like I said, I think she's got an advantage with that one race. Again, Mike Smith gets aboard. He knows the filly well. Steve Asmussen's the trainer. She's been working at the fairgrounds. She's obviously run at Sam Houston, at Churchill Parks. She basically can run anywhere. And she's another rarity in that all of her wins are graded stakes wins. She did not, the only time she ran in a maiden race, she ran second by a nose to a Baffert runner named Dreamtree, who I'm sure everybody's talking, I know our two other handicappers have memories about. But she's a class animal. She has the one, warm-up race for this in preparation for this. And the one thing that she does have over Elate is that she will be a little bit, at least in my opinion, I think she'll be a little bit closer to the pace. Most of her wins seem to be when she's within 2 to 3 lengths of the lead, whereas Elate is a little bit more of a come-from-behind horse. She seems to do better at races at 1 1/8 and 1 1/4. And maybe this is just a starting point for Elate. Even though last year she only ran twice. There were 2 bang-up performances, one in the Delaware Cup off the layoff and one in the Grade 1 Personal Ensign, where she lost to aforementioned Abel Tasman. Jose Ortiz stays aboard, obviously. Bill Mott is obviously having a good year down at Gulfstream. She can really be anywhere early in the race, but I think she's more likely to be a little bit further behind Midnight Bisou, which means Midnight Bisou may get first run, and that might be the winning move. But Elate's obviously doing well off the layoff. See the Delaware handicap last year. I'm not sure she beat much that day. Teresa Z, Sneaky Betty. I don't remember seeing any of those in this race, and I don't think they would be more than 20 or 30 to 1 in the morning line if they were. But I mean, like I said, the pace scenario to me looks like everybody should get what they want. They should be where they want. But I couldn't go past the 2 class horses, Midnight Bisou and Elate. Midnight Bisou would be my top choice, but they both be on my ticket. So I'd go 2-5 in the opener. And again, on deeper tickets, I would probably use Shamrock Rose more than I would use Eskimo Kisses, because I just don't think Eskimo Kisses is going to get the pace she wants. And even though Shamrock Rose was a Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint champion last year, she's been able to win on the lead in races before, both on polytrack or synthetic surfaces, one at Woodbine and one at Presque Isle Downs. But so I would use those 2 underneath. So in order, my choice would be 2-5, 6-4. But again, for our purposes, I would just use the 2 and the 5. Use the 2 class horses. And hope somebody, hope one of those wins, and hope to move on to leg 2, which has been our bugaboo usually. Last week we didn't get to leg one, get through leg one. So 2-5 for me. Ray, what do you think of the Azeri?
Yeah, I agree with you. I do like Midnight Pursue. She's the morning favorite. She might be depend. There might be co-favorite, depends on the public and stuff. But this filly, she's 6 for 12, 12 in the money. She got beat. She lost to Monogoy 4 times, so she should she could be 10 to 12. I know one time she was placed for the DQ, but still, you know she's been battling her, and she's a good filly. She's always in the race. She had a big 3-0 season. She was 5 for 9, and all 9 times the money. Nice wins in Oaks and the Mother Goose, 17 Oaks of Mother Goose collision by DQ, and it'd be a nice third in the Bears Cup this time. So these are good filly. Mike Smith gets back, aboard second time. And you're right, the recency of the race and Sam Houston, I did choose her over Elate. Um, I think Elate might need a race. So I'm not really putting her on my ticket for the win. You know, she raced twice last year, and haven't seen her since August. And I'm not gonna describe Billy Mott. He's credible off the layoffs, but I just think that she might here stretch her legs a little bit and move forward. She's likes to more the distance. Great horse, but she's not sure might be on my ticket today, and I just gonna think she's a little short. I do like another horse, number one, Tappa Tappa Tappa.
Oh,
And just because speed from the rail, she's posted some grueling fractions and she won a few minor stakes, and she can get brave if she's left alone. So you never know, this could happen. And Elate, Shamrock Rose, if they don't fire in the mid race and Midnight Pursuit is a little bit late to the party, Galleral could, she's 23, 26% EP types and 22%, overall for the year. So he could wire the field. Things happen, and it's a good price at 10 to 1. So I'm taking a chance there. So I'm gonna go 2-1. Thinking that Elate just wasn't be ready, and she'll come up for a good second or third. My opinion. Rich.
can almost hear Richard Grunder calling out Antonio Gallardo. But I'm not buying. I did take a look at that horse. I actually only had several minutes to actually handicap this race, but thanks for taking a little bit longer there, guys. So let's see if I can try something here that was suggested to me by, believe it or not, a fan. Hi. So we did get a comment last week, hoping it was from a female fan who wanted to know what I look like without my glasses on, and also would like to see me a little bit more on the show, and said, well, can't you talk to us as you're handicapping? So I'm going to give it a shot, folks. So I will go ahead and turn on my camera, and I'm looking at you, and I've taken off my glasses. So, Mom, I hope you're happy. I'm going to settle on Bill Mott's horse here, despite what Ray said there. 10%, not necessarily a hot iron for Bill Mott, but God, I love this combination. Bill Mott and Jose Ortiz. This just struck last week at the Tampa Bay Derby with Tacitus. That was a nice race for them there. And obviously the race doesn't carry over. But look at the way that this horse finishes. And I'm having trouble because, I don't have my glasses on. But all I see are seconds and first. I see a fourth in there. The horse is 9 for 12, either in first or second lifetime. And those are all grade ones. And when I had my glasses on, I could actually see that it was like the Personal Ensign and the BC Distaff. This is a really solid horse. And Jose Ortiz has been aboard since going all the way back to July of 2017. You want to talk about a jockey horse combination? He really does know this horse. So I went ahead and settled on the long two shots, at least on the morning line. And I agree with Joe, probably going to end up being the morning line favorite. So I'm going to be really, really chalky here today. But I've got the 5. I'm not going to throw out Steve Asmussen's horse. Mike Smith in town for a reason. The horse has been sensational. Mono White Girl is most certainly not here. So instead of going the way that Joe went, which is with 2-5, I went ahead and went 5-2. And I believe Ray was the contrarian here who went 2-1. And look at that. I don't even have to come back to you guys. I'm actually sitting here with you, but I will tell you that if I do not put my glasses back on, God only knows what it is that I'll read off for the next race that's coming up. Hang on a second. I do know that it is race number 8 because that was supposed to be our first race that I thought here. It's a mile and a 16th. It is the Rebel Stakes. It's a grade 2. The purse is $750,000. It's for 3-year-olds only. And your morning line favorite is sitting out in post number 9, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. That is Improbable, 3-5 on the Oaklawn Park morning line. Mr. Torado, over to you. Who do you like in the first half of the Rebel Stakes?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. We got 2 Rebels.
2 Rebels. Not one, but 2 Rebels.
Joe remembers the Rebels very well in football.
Rebel,
To beat up on your ass. Yeah, it's nice to see a big field. You know, a couple of legs, divisions of the Rebel. You know, unfortunately, Santa Anita lost their prep. The San Felipe, but Baffert's here. Bob Baffert's here, and he's my top pick. Improbable, number 9. It's 3-5 borderline. It could be Dapper's top Derby horse of many. I just like the way he runs. He prompts the pace. He finishes strong, and he did good last year, and hopefully he'll continue as the distances get further and further. He's running at the same distance as last time. Lost out. I don't know if that was a track record, but 141 sounds pretty fast. So lost out. It could be. I don't know, but it could be. But he's got some sprinting side on the side, but he got AP Indy mare, so got some stamina. I will see. He looks ready. 3 months layoff, good works. Baffert likes to draw them hard, so he doesn't hold back. He's here to win, and he's here for the points. And I think he probably had 10 points before this race, or something like that.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, right. 10, right? Yeah.
Self-insured, he had 10.
Yeah, and the game went at 30. Okay, so he's gonna need some points to get into the Derby. So press hard to win the race. He's gonna go all out, and it's a field that he can beat. He's got one opponent. I think in my eyes, Galleon, number 8. He's my second choice. He's by Uncle Mo, and he's 3 out of 4. But what I like about him is 2 out of 2 for 2 turns. So he might be a nice 2-turn horse. He could get his horse some trouble. He may not be as fast as Improbable, but if Baffert's horse slips a little bit, he has a very good chance. And he needs points for the Derby too. So he's been running in restricted California races. Good, nice, solid, state-bred races. But I don't think they get you any points in the Derby. So if Hollendorf wants to go there, he's got to win this race or get second. And you got a couple chances here in the Rebel, probably the Arkansas Derby also. So Pratt Hollendorf for the last 60 days, 4 out of 7, not bad, 60%. And he's actually the high weight, 122, because he won a race of 60,000 over 1 mile. And he's given Improbable 3 pounds. So, if they're close down the stretch, those 3 pounds can mean a lot. So I can see a match race from the quarter pole, these two. So let's see who gets their nose in front. For me, 9-8. Joe?
Well, it's funny. When I see 3-5 on the morning line, you guys know me. I'm looking. I'm like, okay, I'm trying. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, there's 9 horses in the field. Let me see if I can find one horse that I can try to beat this horse. If any reason I can look to try and beat that horse at 3-5, and this time I couldn't come up with one. It's funny, Ray. You mentioned the points issue, and that to me matters more in this case because Santa Anita lost its prep and because he started so late. 10 points generally will not get you in. Mm-hmm. So he does need points. And the one advantage is that if he wins this race and he gets 50, he's in. It does. The next race doesn't necessarily need to be. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I notice about this horse that I cannot say about Game Warner, if you look at the workouts, look, Rich, if you look right below where you are, the workouts start. He last raced on December 8th. He's been in training since January 9th. So he's been in training for the last 2.5 months. If you look, 6. Look at all
Just
the
rocking.
five furlongs, 6 furlongs, 6 furlongs, 6 furlongs, 6 furlongs, 5 furlongs, 5 furlongs. I can almost bet this horse is not going to be short. If he doesn't win, it's because either A, somebody was better than him on this day, or B, he just isn't good enough. Baffert obviously has a big reputation. Drayden Van Dyke is coming along for the ride. I didn't recall seeing that Drayden Van Dyke has any other mounts. He might have mounts earlier on the card, but I'm not 100% sure. I just, like you said, Ray, I think he's going to be close to the pace. I think he's going to finish, and I just think he's better than pretty much everybody in this field. And I want to see it from Galilean before I get aboard that train. I want to see him face something other than and I'll call them what I saw, the mediocre Calbreds that he was beaten up on. Again, I mean, if he's the next California Chrome, as Rich put on the PPs, he's going to have to beat a horse like this, and he's going to have to beat him pretty impressively in order to make me believe. But again, I think Improbable will be ready. He's been in training for a long time. I don't think he's going to be short. I just think he's better than this field. And I did want to throw somebody in as a long shot underneath. I would basically be singling Improbable. And yes, I know it's leg 2, and I get it. But I would be singling Improbable. But there is a horse I'm going to use underneath, and that's the 2. Local horse, Long Range Toddy. And the reason I'm going to do it is because I went back and looked at the Southwest. He's obviously the home horse, or one of the home horses locally. And he ran into he got put in a real bad spot last time out in the Southwest. He got shuffled back behind the 2 tiring speed horses, and he really could not get out. By the time he got out, the 2 horses that beat him, Sueño and Supersteed, had already gone 3 or 4 lengths past him. But this horse came down along the rail, and he tried to get up, and he got within 2 lengths. He didn't really have a chance to beat, to finish ahead of those 2 horses because of the trip he had. He's been running down the rail. He's been okay. And at 10-1 for Steve Asmussen, I would take a shot with him underneath. But again, I think this is Baffert's, and I don't want to say it's his best hope, but I think it's his best hope that he's going to win on this day. Because again, I just like that Baffert's kept the horse in training basically since January. He really hasn't had any time off, so he's going to be fit. Just the question is he good enough? He's going to have an outside post. He'll be fine. And I'm guessing Drayden Van Dyke's going to ride him like he's 3-5, and you may not even get 3-5, but we'll see about that. So I like I said, I would single Improbable here, and like I said, I'd use Long Range Toddy underneath in my exactas, or if you like maybe as a third horse, if you like Galilean for second, you want to use Long Range Toddy as your third horse in the trifecta. I would go there as opposed to going to any of the other California shippers or any of the other local horses. So 9 on top for me, with the 2 as the money back special on TVG. So there you go. 9 over 2. Rich?
I have a question.
You?
That Willis Horton, that's not the Dodger or the Detroit Tiger slugger, no? Well, you'll say Willie Horton.
That's Willie Horton. If I don't recall, I think Willie Horton died quite a few years ago. Not that
really?
recent.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's not.
You saw the name, like
no.
Damn.
Fortunately, it's not the same. You can speak, Rich.
No, I'm here. I can see you guys, and I can hear you, and I took my glasses off again, saw them back, and things like that. Is there really any point with me adding on and just piling onto that one? I brought the win. This is, you guys looking for the winner's circle picture and like that. I'm not in there. I'm not in the winner's circle picture, but he is. He's almost certainly there because he's got the winner in this race for damn sure. Let's move along. All right, and we are going to just be looking at race number 11. And for those of you who weren't paying attention, I believe the grand consensus there was Ray singled with the 9, and Joe singled with the 9, and Rich singled.
Ray, did you single?
No, I had the 8 underneath.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know,
9-8.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
Ray. So Ray did
No,
go
that's
9-8. He was again our contrarian voice. I singled. I love Galilean, and I would have loved to have waxed philosophic about the fact that I think that he could potentially be the second coming of California Chrome. But as Joe caught on the page there and like that, after I put down that he was California Chrome Part 2, I also pointed out that this is, a son of Uncle Mo running against Calbrett. So I don't think there's anything that's too unexpected about what he's been able to do at this level so far. I am rooting for him tomorrow, so I will give it. I will give him that. He is the horse that I am kind of cheering for. All right, we're moving along now, and we are going to move into race number 9. And again, if I don't put my glasses on, I'll be talking about fillies and mares, or God only knows what. This is the Essex Handicap. They're going a mile and a 16th again. It's all on the main track, so it's all in the dirt. The purse is $350,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. There are, I believe there are 9 starters, and your morning line favorite is all the way out in post number 8. I believe that is Giant Expectations at 5-2, trained by Peter Yurton and ridden by Joel Rosario. Joe, I believe you're back up for us in the Essex.
Yeah, I think you're going to see this as a very prominent strategy tomorrow. You're going to see horses. You're going to see singles are too deep in the Azari. You're going to see single in this race. You could see a single in the next race. So, but this is the race where you're going to say, okay, I'm throwing my hands up. I have no idea what to do. And I'm going to go as deep as possible. This would be the Keno race for all of us. And honestly, if I could, I would just go 7 deep and eliminate the 2 horses that I don't think can win. But I will, for the show, I will narrow it down to my top 4 picks.
All right.
My top choice, and I don't know, this might be surprising to some, it's the rail runner, and that's Dallimore.
Oh.
And the reason I say that, the reason I decided to make him my top pick is I looked at that last race and I was like, wow, that he was really bad on that sloppy track. So I see his wet, he's 0 for 5 in the wet. I was like, okay, let me just eliminate those races. Eliminated the San Pasquale, eliminated the Whitney, and so I was like, okay, those 2 races are bad races, get them out of here. And then I looked at another race, the comeback race in October at Keeneland in the Phoenix, and he's not a sprinter. If you look at all his races are all distance races, so he's not a sprinter. So that was really not necessary. I think that was more just let's get him a race. Let's try and get him fit for something else down the line. So I tossed that race too. And then I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, if you look at the other races on the card, he's not, I mean, his buyer figures, because I was using Formulator, his buyer figures are 96, 93, 97, 95, and 93. So if he gets distance on a dry track, despite the fact that his trainer is 0 for 21 at the meet now, I guess,
I didn't see that.
At 8-1, he's going to get a nice rail trip. He's going to be close to the pace. David Cohen is a local jock now. He knows the place, and the horse has 4 wins at the distance, and he's 8-1. His figures really are pretty much in line with Giant Expectations, except for Giant Expectations 1 race in the San Antonio, which was December 2017, so more than a year ago. So basically, their figures are in the same ballpark. He's gonna save ground, and he's got a local jock, and he's gonna be 8-1 in a race where, I mean, Rich, who's the morning line favorite? Oh, Giant Expectations 5.
Giant Expectations, yeah.
After that, everybody's 5-1 and up.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like if you can get past Giant Expectations, I mean, I'll take a local horse, and I'll take a horse whose form might be a little darkened because of the race in the slop against Battle of Midway and Mackenzie and the aforementioned Giant Expectations last time out. I'll take that shot. So I'm going with the one on top. My second choice would probably be Giant Expectations. He's been running against the best horses, but again, like I said, his if you look at his speed figures for his recent races, 96, 85, 96, 92, 93. So they're not that much different than Dalmore. He's going to be a little bit wider. He's going to have, he's going to be a shorter price. So on a ticket where you could see horses that are right now, 6 to 5 or 8 to 5 morning line, a 3 to 5 morning line in like 2, a 4 to 5 morning line in like 4. I'd like to have a little bit of a price. Again, not that Giant Expectation can't win. And honestly, if I were playing a ticket, I would probably play. I might even play a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, just a straight single ticket down the line, and play it a bunch of times to see. I mean, because obviously, if that ticket wins, it's not going to pay. It's going to be one of those 950 specials. If you even get 950, good luck getting 950. If Giant Expectations and all the favorites win. But again, Giant Expectations has been facing better, so you got to give him the benefit of that. And I'm sure Joel Rosario will not have a weekend like he had in Florida a couple of weeks ago. Third choice would be the 6 heavy roller, who since being transferred to the barn of Joe Sharp has a non-winners 2 allowance win and an allowance and an $80,000, I guess what you'd call a classified allowance win. And he beat some pretty decent. He beat decent horses in that race. Shotgun Cowboy, Colonel's Dark Temper, CZ Rocket, horses that we've handicapped before. Not fantastic horses, but horses that in this race wouldn't necessarily be automatic throwouts. Let's just put it that way. The horse has gotten better, obviously, under Sharp. And maybe that has something to do with his last name. I have no idea. But, 20% for the meet, 23% for the year. The horse has 2 wins at Oaklawn. Both, been good around 2 turns. He's the hot horse. David Cabrera is a local jockey. He was aboard for the last win. So I think he's going to be okay. And I think he's going to get a nice trip. I think there's I would say a lot of speed. I think there's going to be a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? There's going to be 5 or 6 horses within a couple lengths of the lead early. So the pace might not be necessarily fast, but there'll be a lot of horses that he can go around. I think he's going to get a nice trip in front of the 2 closers. So he might get first run of the 3 of the closers in the race. And the other horse I like is the 9, Rated R Superstar. Cipriano Contreras is the trainer. And yes, I see the percentage is 1 for 27 at the meet. And you see Rodney Prescott is named. But if you look at the last 60 days, 50,
Wow,
of 8 races, 50%. 3 of those, at least that I know of, were at Turfway Park, and maybe the 4th one was today at Turfway Park, or maybe the 4th one was here at Oaklawn. I didn't get a chance to look at that before I came on, but he closed very nicely behind Coal Front and Copper Bullet, who were 2 horses that were the two top choices in the Razorback. This will be his 3rd off the layoff. Like I said, the barn's been pretty hot, 8 for 28 before today. Over the last 30 days overall. That speed figure, if he can improve on that speed figure and he gets enough pace, I think he can make noise late. I just don't know if he's going to have enough time. He's going to be coming from the back with the closers like Hentz and Sonneteer. But again, I would go as deep as I could in this race. I went 1, 8, 6, 9 in order, and those would all be on my personal ticket. But again, if you wanted to go single, and heck, if you want to even go all in this spot,
punch the all button.
Single in the next race, you can absolutely do that. And like I said, I think that'll be a strategy that a lot of people use. So if you do happen to see that and you think it underpays, that may be why. 1,869 for me in the Essex, and I'm really surprised that at the $350,000 price that race is not a graded stakes race. But anyway, I will hand it off to my Northeastern colleague, Ray. What do you think of the Essex, and why is this race not graded?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's not a state bred race. I can see if it's a state bred race. I get that, but I don't see it. I see.
Oh wait, it says here the owner of the winner to receive a trophy. There you go. See?
Well, yeah, but
so that's good.
You
so
can't
$350K for a trophy. Forget the grade.
You can't spend a trophy.
You can make an optional claiming race here for $350,000. Nobody will be claimed, of course.
You can melt it down if it's
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, you were 4 deep. I'm 5 deep, and we got some little different horses, so we might actually going. We might be going all here. I don't get the one, but like you said, this is a wide open race. If you get past Giant Expectations, you're gonna have a good price. I settled on a 7, Snapper Sinclair. He's got some speed to get a good position, trip. He's got a win over the track in his last, which I like to see. Moves up from the optional claimers. Now wins of two. He's got Ass Mission, Ricardo Santana. The last 60 days, they 97 times they've been together. So it's a very popular connection and profitable too, and it's successful. He's horsed it well in the Triple Crown, perhaps at the fairgrounds. He's had a second and third, so he's got some back class. He's a 4-year old now, and he ran his last best figure at Oaklawn Park. This is best figure 99. So he might actually like the surface. He didn't win over it, so I'm gonna choose him 9-2. I do like your horse, Joe Sonatier. Not much in the win column, 2 for 23, but
He's not my horse. I didn't even
oh no,
put
you didn't pick him. Oh, okay, I know you mentioned him. The close. Okay, oh, she's my horse then.
Yeah,
7-3 of mine.
he's no world approval.
No. He's a closer who can attack from a strong pace. So if the pace is hot, he might be coming. He ran good fourth in Oaklawn last April to some good horses, Sea of Light and Accelerate. And he ran against Gift Box and Battle of Midway, and he finished fifth and fourth against Cold Front, Copper Bullet, so rated R superstar. So he's been hanging around. Maybe he'll improve with Amia. This almost here, and he needs a fast pace. So if he gets it, he might become good price 5-1. I do like Giant Expectations. He's going to be the favorite. He ran a strong mile in the San Pasquale versus Battle of Midway. Drops in class here. He's fast enough here, but he's 0 for 5 his last 2 years. So I'm a little tentative to use him. I don't want to use him, but I guess he'll be an insurance policy for the refund of the ticket, possibly. He's been finding trouble, so in his races.
If you bet the ticket
No,
5 times.
yeah, true. So but I'll include him, just for the hell of it, another few dollars. I do like number 6, Heavy Roller. David Cavell, Joe Sharp. He had a nice race in Oakland Slop. But it'll be fast tomorrow. So, but he still ran well. He steps up after effort. He came back with a strong workout. I like to see a nice bullet, 48. And he's Joe Sharp. They're only 1 for 5 the last 60 days, but they have a win. And Joe Sharp is 22%, and Cabrera, I think he seems to be a local jockey, so he should be close to the lead, close and make a run mid-stretch. So he's 5-1 anyway. And I like your horse, Joe. There you go. Rated R superstar, 12-1. Another closer who could come off the strong pace. And he ran a very good race last time in the Razorback. He needs to pick up a few more lengths. So the race off the layoff. And, he'll be on the outside. He can see everything. And he actually likes the track. He's 5 out of 7 on the money with a win in 3 seconds. So he's 12-1, and that'd be nice if he won and he can, keep us going with this chalky pick 4. But we need a bomb here, so we hope that he gets up there. So I'm gonna go 7, 3, 8, 6, 9. You got the other horses. So Rich, I think we'll be playing everybody.
I'm pretty sure by the time this is all done that we're all just playing everybody here and like that.
Right.
On this show, Ray is known, for having the Keno machine. But every once in a while when I'm handicapping, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I got him. In this race, I've got more selections than Ray because I'm just going deep and it never works out because he's always got at least one more horse than me. I actually went to one of our old strategies. I started on the back page first, and this track plays very fair. As Joe pointed out, all the races are the exact same distance. All you had to do was look at the one of the back pages, and you could see what 8.5 furlongs on the dirt looks like. And you see 22% going wire to wire, just like 57% going early pace type. So you're still getting 43% going to the closers there. I did look down here, and I noticed what it seemed to me what Joe alluded to a little bit earlier, right? An abundance of not necessarily need the lead types, but there could be quite a bit of pressure up there. I believe that's related to the Heavy Roller and R-rated Superstar. Hence, I went in a completely different direction in this particular race, and I settled on Steven Asmussen and Mike Smith in position number 2, the horse that's just called Hence. I do like this angle a lot. I've noticed this quite a bit on Brisnet, that failed his favorite in the last race. You do get some decent prices there. The horse was racing against some good types there. You see Leo Frick, one of our old buddies from this show, and Yoshida down on the page. The horse has been competing against this kind of quality before. Again, Steven Asmussen, and he's bringing in Mike Smith for this race. I mean, Smith is here obviously with the California contingent, and he's here to ride Game Winner in the next race that's coming up. But as long as he's here, why not? And so I find him here, and I thought if there is enough pace and the race starts to break down at the end, I decided to go to the 2. My second choice, believe it or not, I went Nanush. Just to show you that I was trying to go off the page. I was trying to do something different because, as I heard earlier on this thing, if Giant Expectations does win this race, he'll be lucky to get $9 considering what's going to happen in the other races. And so I'm trying to go a little bit off the page. I cannot remember the name of the Sunland Park announcer or the guy who does it from down there and like that, but I love it when he calls out Orlando Mojica's name almost as much as we were talking about earlier in the race when Richard Grunder calls out jockeys' names. But Robertino Diatorno, a very good trainer. He's got Mojica. That is one of his guys that he uses down there in Sunland. And this horse has shown some early pace ability there, and kind of fit the 3 broke guys angle as far as I was concerned, and then moved up to the Razorback and got hammered that last time, and I see R-rated Superstar finished ahead of him. But I decided to give him another try here, so I've got Nanush on my line here, and then I also have the 7, which was Racehorse. That's Snapper Sinclair. That's the old, I'm not going to split my Steve Asmussen's. And, of course, he's got Ricardo Santana on this particular one. That is his go-to jockey. They hit 20% together. And before I lose all my air and probably everybody else's interest in this one, I did throw in the favorite at the very end. So I actually went my top pick on this one is the 2, 4, 7, 8. And then Joe is 1, 8, 6, 9, and Ray is 7, 3, 8, 6, 9. And if that figures out to anything other than the all button, I'll be shocked at the end when we do this.
Oh, we don't have the 5.
We don't have the 5 covered. Wow, you're like Rich. We don't have the 5.
That 5 wins.
5 wins.
Lock City, baby.
All right, let me come
There's
on back to
somebody
you
right
guys.
now watching, putting in the 5 on their ticket, and they're gonna sing on the 5. They're gonna save money.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna save money and bet
on the 5.
Do it.
Thank you for pointing
Send
that
the
out.
comments. Say you did it, and
1 morning line, I think, or 20.
All right, so
50 to 1. Who knows?
Let's see. I am back one last time. Hi, everybody. I've actually brought, the celebrity of our show. This is my Bob Baffert bobblehead doll. My favorite trainer out there. So, all right, we are moving along to race number 10, and no, I'm not having deja vu or something like that. Once again, it's a mile and a 16th on the main track. It is the second half of the Rebel Stakes. Purse is $750,000 for 3-year-olds only. I missed this a little bit earlier in the thing, and thank you for the reminder there in the screen share, guys. This is obviously a Kentucky Derby Awards point race, as was the initial race that we talked about a couple of races ago. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they split the Derby points for this one. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe the winner is going to get 37.5 points.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right. Again, it is the Rebel Stakes. The morning line favorite is in post number 6. He's trained by Bob. He's ridden by Mike Smith. In post number 5, trained by Bob, ridden by Mike Smith, and that's Game Winner. And I believe he's a generous 4-5. That's Joe Rosario riding him, and he is a generous 4-5 on the morning line. Ray, you're going to get to finish us off in the pick 4 today. What do you like?
If it's 37.5 points, was it 50 at one point now?
They used some. Well,
they used some of the San Felipe points, right?
I see.
What they did is because Oaklawn had to put up an extra 500,000. So each division is 750,000 purse.
Oh,
but
okay.
they so basically they had to add 50% more points
Hmm.
to the total. So
Oh,
instead
okay.
of it being 50, 20, 10, 5, it would be 75, 37 and a half, so on and so forth,
Mm.
and they had to split that. So that's how they got to that
Oh, okay.
termination.
There we go.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Joe.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Last leg, if I'm alive. Who'd I root for? Who knows? The favorite, 45. No, I'm gonna try and beat him. My top choice. I'm looking for a horse. Uh, I've been watching him for a few weeks, and he's been running well his last few races. Number 8, Gunmetal Gray, Jerry Hollendorfer.
I had it.
Yeah, he's been running strong for me. He's been having a good kick, and he's come back to shave on 2 huge races. He detoured from Santa Anita to come here. He's got a good chance to close in a big wide stretch. Pratt's back on for Mike Smith, who chose Omaha Beach. And he ran well. And Sham, he won the Sham. And I remember watching that race, and he just came out of way back then. And to close in that track, and you just missing Bob and Lewis, just missed to Mucho Gusto. And, to close in that track is pretty difficult. That track has been, very speed favoring. And he's gonna love this track. I think he's gonna love the wide turns and long stretch. So I'm taking Gunmetal Gray at 10-1. I'd probably be less than that, but he's a good price to start off here to end up my pick four. I do like number 5 game winner. It's 4-5. Is undefeated, 4 for 4. A la Justified. Question is, will he be cranked up for this? I know Barfield doesn't play games. He comes here to win. He's got 30 points already. It's the first race of the year, so I'm a little leery. I know Baffer's gonna go all out on him. Been working him out, hard. His usual 59s and 7 furlongs, 125. So it's like you got 3 grade 1s. Just he wants to move forward with this horse. He already has 30 points, so he probably does need some points to get in there. He is the 2-world champion, so he has a lot of pressure on him. But if he just runs well, I think they'll be happy. But I'm just gonna try and beat him on this day. I do have one long shot. My third choice. I'm going 3 deep here. And, why? I don't know. But number 1, Market King. I see the Triple Crown legend, D. Wayne Lucas, and I have trouble leaving Lucas's horses out in the Triple Crown, perhaps because he finds a way to get in there. And this horse for me, he won his only 2-turn race, and I think he might like the 2 turns. He's a speed type. So I'm curious to see how Johnny V is gonna rate him, or just go out there and try and steal it, or Velasquez is good on the lead, for my history, and he's 25% with the E types, but he definitely needs to improve some lengths to catch up with these other horses. But he did have a last bullet workout, so he's 30-1. So I'm just going off the chart here just to try and you know have somebody alive who has a price. So Market King for me also. So I'm gonna go 8-5-1 and in the Rebel. Joe, the second Rebel.
Second set. That's right. Second division.
Yeah, second division of Rebel.
And it's funny, Ray, while you were talking, I was looking up the point standings, and Gunmetal Gray has 18, and Game
Okay.
Winner has 30. And if I recall, 30 has been good enough to get you in.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Pretty much every year since the point standings have been used, whereas 18 is it's borderline. I would assume Gunmetal Gray needs more, whereas I don't know that Game Winner needs more, but on this day I'm fairly certain he's going to get more. And like you, Ray, I'm going to try and beat him today. We've seen 2 horses jaywalk 2 weeks ago, and Instagram last week, who came back after Sterling campaigns, and Instagram had won both races by 10 lengths, and he was obviously not ready. I shouldn't say that. That maybe that's the wrong term to use. He just did. He wasn't the super horse that everybody thought he was. having won in California on in having the lead in slow paced races and getting away with murder and being able to win easy. I'm gonna try and beat Game Winner, and because of what I've seen of horses coming back, Bob generally has a tendency to win more often with layoff returnees than the other trainers. Obviously, Jason Service trains Jaywalk and Instagram is Hollendorfer. Bob is better with layoff horses than those two trainers are. So I was a little bit leery, and for that reason, unlike Instagram last week, Game Winner is going to be on my ticket, but he's going to be my second choice. You can't really fault anything he's done, and only Gunmetal Gray and Game Winner have graded wins in this race. So that tells you that, to me, this is the quote unquote weaker division of the two as far as what they've accomplished so far. Again, outside of Game Winner, there really hasn't been much in this field. But I'm going with an upstart horse as my top choice, and that's the 2, Laughing Fox, 10-1 in the morning line. And Rich obviously mentioned Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. The horse's dam has done more damage on turf. We already know turf and synthetic. We already know about Union Rags. But Laughing Fox is 2 for 2 over the track. And one of the things that I like that he did was he was able. We always how often do we talk about horses going from a maiden win to a non-win as a 1 being a really difficult step? And he won a race last time out at Oaklawn Park. He did have a pretty nice setup. The pace was pretty fast. He was sitting at the back. He was on the rail around both turns. He didn't really have to do much other than get out in between. But the horse, Sleepy Eyes Todd, actually gave him a fight, and I liked the way this horse fought back. I think he's a little bit of a sleeper look. He hasn't really taken any steps backwards. His figures have improved each time. And the fact that I think Asmussen has does he have 4 in this heat? 1, 2. Yeah, he's got 4 horses in this race. And Santana's his go-to guy. And he's staying with Laughing Fox. And he's Triple Crown eligible. So I think if there's a day you're going to get Game Winner, it's probably today. Again, Game Winner doesn't need to get points. I think he'll be good enough to, even if he runs second, he's still going to get, 17 or however many points it's going to be. Maybe it's 15. But that'll get him to 45, and 45 has generally been an accepted number. And he'll get into the race as long as he's healthy. So it's the 2 and the 5 for me. And I can't eliminate Omaha Beach. And the reason is that I went back and I looked. It's Mandela, it's Mike Smith. And I watched the race that he ran, his maiden breaker over the slop, and obviously I'm always leery about betting horses who run huge figures in a maiden race on in a maiden race over a sloppy track. And it wasn't even a 2-turn race, but he's been better on dirt than he's been on turf. The numbers look relatively good, and the dam of the dam of Omaha Beach, Charming, is out of is the spot.
I remember Charming,
the Gold, and Take Charge Lady. So I think the horse will be fine on dirt, and the horse will be fine at distance. And it's funny because Charming is the dam of Take Charge. What the heck was that horse's name? Now that I can't remember, the horse that won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly race at 60-1. Take Charge.
Maria.
No, it was Take Charge. Anyway,
Take Charge Brandy.
Take Charge Brandy.
Yeah.
So the horse, he's got some breeding to go the distance, and I don't think Mandela would chip without having an intent or a purpose. He's got a lot to do. Again, it's taken him 5 starts to break his maiden. His record's not bad, obviously, and he won a huge race. He ran a huge race flop at Santa Anita last time out. He's gonna like I said, he's gonna have to improve, and so is my top choice. To be honest with you, Laughing Fox will both have to improve, and maybe Game Winner will not have to be on his tip top game. And again, being that the goal for Game Winner and Improbable is 7 weeks from tomorrow, there's always a chance that they're not on top of their game. So I went 2, 5, 6 in the second division of the Rebel. Rich.
Well, I'll come back one last time for you guys, but unfortunately, I really I got nothing else for you. It was the doll all night. Um, I'm a bigger believer in game winner than I was in improbable in this particular race. He's done nothing wrong. He's a son of Candy Ride, um, Gary and Mary West. They're the owners. He's got Rosario aboard. It's Bob Baffert. The horse is 4 for 4. Has proven at this distance. If I'm not mistaken, the last horse that ran off wins in these kinds of things. And as a matter of fact, that horse didn't even actually do it. They actually renamed this particular race after him. It was American Pharaoh was the last guy who kind of fired up that way. And American Pharaoh didn't even do that well because he skipped the juvenile. I'm singled. I ended up only going one deep here again, and chose to take some of their chances earlier in the pick four sequence. We do have quite a nice little ticket though that actually worked out together here. So I'm singled in the finale. I've just got the 5. I'm a Bob Baffert disciple here on this day. Primarily feeling that he's probably in a little bit of a state of panic. With the closure of his main track here at Santa Anita, he had to ship these two over to Oaklawn Park with only the potential Santa Anita Derby still to come out here on the West Coast. I was thinking that Bob felt he really, really needed some points. And I'm imagining, as we've talked about on this show before, he's got both of these horses fully ready to go. We've talked about the works and everything else on the show already. So I imagine Game Winner is going to be just as ready as Improbable. I've got 2 singles. They're both Bob Baffert horses. Allowed me to go a little deeper in the other races. Joe went 3 deep in this race. He's got 2, 5, 6, and Ray has got 8, 5, 1. I believe, let's see, I'm already back with you guys. I didn't even take off my glasses. I apologize. I'm trying to take a look over at you. But I will only come back here for a brief minute, and I am going to bring up our screen share and show you what we've got together as a team for our 3 Broke Guys Pick 4. So here we go. In this initial leg, we've just got the 2 and the 5. So we definitely had some consensus. Ray, the top pick was yours was the 2. That was the same for Joe. We both had Midnight Bisou as their top pick. I actually had a late as my top pick, so that's the 5 right there. But I don't think there was much of an argument. Joe had the 5 as his backup, and right now the 1's on the outside. We'll see if we've got some room here at the end when we put those in the final. In the second leg, we've just got the single of Improbable. Ray was our contrarian there, who also added the 8. Again, we'll move on to the next leg, but we're not done necessarily. This was our scramble situation. We ended up with 6 choices. Let's see. I've got the 7 is Ray's top pick. I've got the 1 is Joe's top pick. I made sure to move mine around. I don't know what was going on with my eyes there, but the 2, as you heard on the show, that was my top pick. So 7, 1, 2, those are the 3 top picks. Let's see. The 6 and the 9, I believe there was some consensus between Ray and Joe. They both liked that one. And of course, the 8 was the favorite. That's Giant Expectations. Please don't let that horse win because we don't want a $9 pick 4. And finally, there in leg number 4, the 8, that's Ray's top pick. The 2 is Joe's top pick, and the 5, well, I'm the chalk eating weasel tonight. So 8, 2, 5. No other consensus there. So got 3, 6. We've got like the most economical 3 Broke Guys ticket of all times. If I'm not mistaken, that's an $18 play for you.
2, 6, 3. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Could not have a more economical play for the audience. I will come back for one final time.
Got it. We might make money even if we hit it.
Yeah. There we go. I can't take off my glasses for this one. For the, I would never be able to read off of our slide here, things like that. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. How about that, Mom? It's not even Mother's Day or your birthday, but if you're watching, I love you very much. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed our show, well, you know what? We're going to try and come back next week because, that's what the 3 Broke Guys do. We're going to take a look at another exciting racetrack. Joe or Ray, can you guys remind me what is the exciting racetrack that'll be up next week?
I'm expecting Fairgrounds, Rich.
All right, so we are off to the Fairgrounds.
Oh, okay.
Is that the Louisiana Derby that we're up to already, or?
I believe so. 6
All right.
weeks. Yeah, and Fortunately for us, they draw tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh,
Gives us a little chance to get a little bit of a head start on our handicapping. For
I
those of you who can't tell, I can use all the head starts I can get here. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. You know what? It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
always a
Absolutely.
pleasure.
You know,
Belated happy birthday, Mr. Shirato.
Oh, thank you.
You know
Thank
what? My apologies. Well, we've been wishing you happy birthday on social
I
media
gotta
over and
keep my
over.
glasses on. If I take them off, I'm blind. So.
Yeah, you know.
I'm good. But thank you. 53. Feeling very young. I feel great.
53 going on.
I don't know. 35. Let's flip it.
54.
35. 35, we could flip it.
Well, for those of you who hung around with us, thank you very much. For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Hey, good luck and good night. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Right?